Good morning, everyone. Thank you. All right. Good morning. Are we awake yet? All right. We have to be awake because we are on site. It is a construction zone. Sleeping in a construction zone is a really bad idea. But welcome to day 3 of the 2024 Jimmy and Rosalind Carter Work Project. Let's give it up. Especially those of you who are joining us for the first day, we are really glad to have you all here. It is just an amazing thing to watch what has already occurred this week, from a relatively empty lot to houses being built, frames going up, flooring going in. It's really amazing. I am Chris Coleman, President and CEO of Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity, for those of you who don't know me, and I am simply just the spokesperson for the most amazing group of employees, of workers that are making this project happen. I am so grateful for the crew and the staff at Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity. So let's give it up for the incredible work that they have done. So, for those of you, raise your hand if you were at the bash last night. Wow, all right. So you all know how I'm feeling this morning. There are a lot of fumes that I'm running on right now, but we're grateful. And last night we brought in a couple of folks to come in and sing happy birthday to President Carter. We had a great celebration of his 100th birthday last night. And I don't know if they're around, but maybe they could come up and say a few words. The singers from last night, Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood, are you in the house? They're not. They're already building. Well, there you go. You know how singers are. They can't wait to start swinging hammers. All right. Well, hopefully we'll get a chance to hear from them a little bit later. But we do want to thank them for being here. They are Habitat humanitarians. The only other people that have been Habitat humanitarians were Jimmy and Rosalind. So it's a special high honor, and we're glad to have them here. We're also grateful to have Jonathan Reckford, the CEO of Habitat International, here with us today and all week. So thank you, Jonathan, for your partnership. As a retired and recovering politician myself, I always appreciate folks that come out not just for a photo op, but to do the work. And we are very honored to have our Congresswoman, Betty McCollum, out here to do our work today. So Betty, thank you. Do I say, no, you're here to work, not to speak. Thank you for joining us. We're very grateful. I also want to give a special shout out to the CEO of Habitat for Humanity Minnesota, Kristen and City. Kristen, where are you? HabMin, for those of you who don't know, Habitat Minnesota is the state support organization supporting all 24 affiliates across the state of Minnesota. They have been invaluable in helping us get here today. They have provided a lot of help on site, so we are very happy to have them there. And we are just ultimately blessed to have an incredible ecosystem of organizations across the Twin Cities that are fighting for equity in housing, for justice in housing, and all of our community partners that are with us here today. I just want to give a shout out to you and a round of applause for just incredible partnership. Now, if you've been here if this is your second or third day that you've been out on site, you may have noticed that when you come in the morning, your site isn't exactly the same as you left it the night before. There may be some additional walls up, or it might just be a little cleaner, a little bit safer. It may be just a little bit more secure. But that is because we have this incredible elf crew, is what we call them. They're the folks in the green shirts that come in after everybody else leaves and do the hard work of just making sure that we are ready to go, and when the volunteers hit the site in the morning, they are ready to build. And so I want to give a special shout out to our elf crews who are doing an incredible staff. Elf crews, you shouldn't be here because your job is later on. So I don't know why I'm congratulating all of you, because if you're here, go home and sleep and get back here this afternoon. We also want to acknowledge this evening, sundown is the beginning of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and the high holy days, particularly at a time where there's so much turmoil in the Middle East. Our thoughts and prayers during this time to be with you and all of you. Just a special blessing today. Let's pray for peace in the Middle East. It is just, it's devastating to think of all of the suffering that's occurring there. This evening we're hosting a Racial Justice and Housing Symposium at the St. Paul Event Center. If you were there last night, you saw an exhibit on our work around advancing black home ownership. We want to continue to focus in on this because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we have an equitable Twin Cities where everyone has an opportunity to buy a house, to thrive, to build equity, and we have to address and first of all understand how we got to the inequality that we have in this community. And so tonight's Racial Justice and Housing Symposium should be a really fascinating opportunity for us to take a deep dive and a look at what we are doing, not just here in the Twin Cities, but Habitat International across the country. We are really laser focused. I don't know if for those of you that haven't looked at the St. Paul Pioneer Press, there's been a really good series of articles about this week and about the work that we're doing. But today there's an article about our work around advancing black home ownership and our work around making sure that we aren't creating more barriers for families, particularly foundational black households, to buy a house here in the Twin Cities. So we want to just, again, continue to focus on our work around advancing black home ownership. If you've been here before, you've heard me talk about this, but we have one of the largest disparities in home ownership rates of any community in the country. And we didn't get here by accident. We got here because we had intentional policies that shut people out, and particularly foundational black families, from home ownership. We redlined, we had restrictive covenants, we built freeways through the hearts of our African American community. We didn't get here by accident, but we also won't just get out of that problem by accident. We have to be intentional about it. We have to be as intentional about solving the problem as we were in creating it in the first place. And so just let's focus in on that. And every day this week we are blessed to have another faith leader to lead us in our morning reflection and devotion. And this morning we are honored to have from the Masjid An-Nur Mosque in Minneapolis, Imam Makram El-Amin. Imam?
We begin, as is traditional for Muslims to begin with the greetings of peace. We say, Assalamu alaikum, and that is, may God's peace be upon you all. I greet you in this universal greeting of peace, and it is a privilege to gather with you this morning as we embark upon a noble work together, building homes and creating spaces of safety and love for families in need. Whether we come from different faith traditions, cultures, or traditions, we are united by the common purpose of service to humanity. As a Muslim, I reflect on the teachings of the Quran and as it calls us to serve those who are in need. The Quran speaks to the importance of doing good deeds. It says to us, whoever does an atom's weight of good shall see it. This verse highlights even the smallest acts of kindness and service is not overlooked by God. Our efforts today, whether it is hammering nails or painting walls or offering words of encouragement, are meaningful and seen by the Creator. It is these small acts of kindness that we collectively build something far greater than homes. We build communities, we build hope, and we build future for others. Our beloved Muhammad, peace be upon him, has also emphasized the importance of charity. He said, the best of people are those who are most beneficial to others. This teaching calls us to reflect on the true purpose of our lives, to be a benefit to one another. As we extend our hands to build, we are fulfilling a prophetic mission to be a source of goodness and support to others. As we stand together today, we are reminded that faith in all forms calls us to love, to serve, and uplift others. We are part of one human family, and our work here today transcends our individual beliefs. It is an expression of our shared humanity, our shared compassion. In Islam, there's a beautiful concept called sadaqah. It means a voluntary charity, and this takes place in many forms, not just monetary donations, but all acts of kindness, service, and even a smile. Muhammad the Prophet, peace be upon him, he said, even a smile is charity. So today, let us remember that every brick we lay, every nail we drive, and every word of support that we offer is a form of sadaqah, or charity, and an act of worship to bring us closer to God and to one another. As work begins today, I pray that God blesses our efforts, strengthens our bonds, and grant those who will live in these homes peace, security, and happiness. May our work together be a reflection of our gratitude of blessings that we have received. May it inspire us to continue serving our communities in all the days to come. Let us take a moment of silent reflection on this blessing of being able to serve others, to offer gratitude for the opportunity to make a difference. Thank you. May God's peace be with you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. You know, yesterday Jonathan Reckford and I were doing a lot of satellite media, and the question that I was asked multiple times was, what is the importance of the corporate community support for the work that you're doing? And I kept on saying, coming back, I said, well, first of all, look at this site. Look at our sponsors here. Anderson Windows providing the windows, every window on site for free. GAF, you know, the solar shingles that we're putting on all the roofs. I don't want to. The problem is once you start naming names, you got to say everybody, and I'm not going to be able to do that. But it's also because they bring out their volunteers, they bring out their work teams who have not only an opportunity to get back to the community, but to build that bond that happens on site when your teams are working together. The financial support is absolutely critical and crucial, but that's just the beginning. But the financial support comes in a lot of different ways. This past week, we had a hustle to get a New Markets tax credit deal closed, and the team at Habitat and the team at U.S. Bank that worked so hard to get that deal closed was Herculean effort, and we were really grateful for the work that went into that because it makes this project possible. But one of our great sponsors and partners has been U.S. Bank over the years. We've had a long-standing partnership with Habitat and U.S. Bank, and today we are very honored to have the Senior Vice President and Senior Business Development Officer for U.S. Bank, Bill Carson, with us today. Bill?
Good morning, builders. This is my third day on site, and I think I've developed a personal relationship with Advil, and I imagine that many of you also have as well. Well, I am thrilled, as Chris said, to be here with 150 of my U.S. Bank colleagues. So where are my U.S. bankers? And even though many of us live in St. Louis and we've come from cities around the country, of course, this is U.S. Bank's home cities of the Twin Cities, Minnesota. So we're so proud to have the opportunity to be here this year in the backyard of U.S. Bank's headquarters. You know, every day my colleagues and I really strive to make possible happen and create access to capital for families and small businesses across the country. And we're especially proud of our Habitat for Humanity partnership because this is our third Carter Work project. And we were honored this year, as Chris said, to provide more than $3.1 million to the Carter Work project here with Twin Cities in both contributions and forgivable investments through the federal New Markets Tax Credit Program. In fact, since 2008, we've worked with Habitat for Humanity affiliates across the United States and provided more than $137 million in capital, to Habitat for Humanity affiliates for builds just like this across the country, working to build more than 3,900 homes that go into the hands of deserving families and striving families across the United States. But, we've heard a lot about the transformative power of home ownership and how it can uplift families for generations. Let me tell you a little bit about one particular family. In 1961, Julian and Helen Washington moved their 3 girls. They were Harlem Renaissance drivers that came up from Charleston, South Carolina in the 1930s, and they moved from public housing in Manhattan to buy their first home in 1961 in the then suburbs of the Bronx for the whopping sum of $16,500. Believe it or not. All of those girls, because of that home and because of that stability and the wealth it created, went on to college as first-generation college graduates. They then raised their kids, and their kids became college graduates and started off 2 successful futures, including mine. Helen and Julian Washington were my grandparents. And I honor them every day, and especially today, for the decisions and the investments that they made in our family 60 years ago for the place that all of us are today. And I know that some of the same types of stories are going to come out of the very same homes that we're building today at the Heights. And I know that some of those same families are going to be on a brand new trajectory as a result of decisions that are being made by the future homeowners today. So I wish all of the homeowners future success. I'm so excited to be here and build well today. Thank you.
Bill, thank you so much for sharing your personal journey and story. That's what this is all about. If we all reflect back on our own, we all have our own stories, our own histories. And some of them are about, if you're in the African American community, how wealth was stripped from you. For my personal journey, my mom grew up in a very poor neighborhood in the city of St. Paul. But when my dad came home from World War II, he was able to buy a house on the GI Bill. And as a result of that, when I went to buy my first house, I could go to the First National Bank of Mom and ask for a loan. But when that wealth is stripped from you in the first place because we built a freeway through your front yard, then your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren don't have that opportunity. And so know your own stories, know your history, and tell that story. Lift up your voices and advocate for housing across this country. We are, as always, blessed again this morning to have a homeowner who has gone through the journey of home ownership with Habitat for Humanity here in the Twin Cities. And every one of those stories is so powerful. We are so grateful. But our next speaker is, I've had a chance to hear Carroll speak in the past, and she is just a wonderful speaker, a powerful story, and you're going to really enjoy hearing our Habitat homeowner because this is all what it's all about. Give it up for Carroll Alihonou.
I was worried about that. Thank you, everybody. I am honored to be here today at the Carter Work Project. Everyone has a story, and today I would like to share not just my homeowner story, but my life story. I was born in Togo, a small country in West Africa nestled between Ghana and Benin. In 2004, at the age of 7, my family and I moved to the U.S. Less than a year later, after moving, my father passed away, leaving my mom and 3 small children in an alien land where she did not know the language or the culture. It left all of us devastated, and it took a big toll on me. When asked why my dad was moving his family to a different country, he would say, "To find a place for my children." But now he was gone, and I couldn't imagine how this new alien land could be our place without him. After losing my dad, I struggled with anxiety and depression that persisted throughout my adolescence. I went to college and I studied psychology to make sense of my own mental health challenges and to help others. During college, I had my daughter, Alexandria. After having Alexandria, my mental health was at an all-time low, but I knew no matter what, I needed to keep moving forward. So that was the moment I decided to invest in mine and Alexandria's future by becoming a homeowner. I was motivated to find a place for Alexandria, just like my mom and my dad had done for me. I wanted a yard where Alexandria could play. I wanted to measure her height on the wall year after year. I wanted Alexandria to grow up and bring her children back someday and say, this is where I grew up. So I saved as much as I could. I went to home buyer seminars, all while finishing my degree, working, and being a new mom. I knew about Habitat through a family friend, Adade. Adade is a real estate agent and previously a homeownership advisor with Habitat. With Adade as my realtor, I fell in love with a Habitat-developed home in Apple Valley, and in June of 2023, I closed on my home. My family and I have been hard at work making our house into a home. We have big plans to finish the basement. We want to add a bathroom, create an exercise space for Alexandria so she can work out and do gymnastics. The future looks brighter every day for my family. I just completed my first year of my master's program. I started a new job, and Alexandria just started first grade. Thank you. Shortly after buying my home, I traveled back to Togo to visit my family, and I brought Alexandria with me. Alexandria loved playing with all her cousins, and I loved returning to the home I knew at her age, my grandma's house. I remembered all the memories I used to have there. I remembered playing, I remembered riding my bike here, and I remember falling all over the place. Making the choice to become a homeowner, I knew that I wanted that for Alexandria as well. I wanted her to come back to her childhood home and say, this is where I grew up. I would not have been able to make my dream come true without Habitat and without affordable homeownership. Homeownership is the key to racial equity. It builds generational wealth, and it closes the racial wealth gap. By expanding access to affordable housing, we can create lasting economic opportunities and stronger communities for all. Thank you.
Carroll, what? Thank you so much. That's just so powerful. I love hearing your story, Carroll, and just so grateful that you're thriving in your Habitat house. So we are coming to the lecture portion of our morning program. We are, as I mentioned earlier, for those of you that don't know it, we are on an active construction site. That means that there are certain hazards and certain rules that we have to be aware of. It is important to make sure that we are covering all of our bases. And so I'm going to ask our Chief Safety Officer, our safety captain, Mike Robertson, to come up and give us a few housekeeping items for the day.
Good morning, Chris. All right. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Good? How many new faces in the crowd today? Raise your hand. This is your first day out. All right. Thank you so much for being here. So those of you who've been around a few days, you might have noticed this morning it's a little bit chilly out here, right? And that's, as Jonathan Reckford likes to say, that's just the way I like it. So today's going to be about safety and weather. It's supposed to warm up during the day. It's going to be windy. Just want to share a few notes for you. Just a quick introduction. My name's Mike Robertson. I've been with Twin Cities Habitat this is my 15th year. I started just before we hosted the last Carter Work project here in the Twin Cities, and it is a great honor to be here with you all today. Super fun. So stay hydrated. I've taken it to the next level with my hydration pack. You guys do you, but even though it's cold outside, you can still get dehydrated. We've got water trailers where you can refill your water bottles. We've got coolers full of Powerade and some bottled water along the job sites. And so make sure that you're keeping that topped up and putting those biffs to good use. Take breaks. You know, your site's going to run the way it runs, but I would encourage you to listen to your body. No heroics out here. If you're feeling like you need a minute to come inside and sit down for a second, please do that. You know, we want to get through the week. By day number 3, especially you folks that have been out here, day number 1 and number 2, we're getting a little bit tired, right? I heard the CEO of U.S. Bank talk about Advil being your best friend. And that is true. Advil and caffeine are going to get us through the week, and some prayers maybe. For anyone that's here for a half day, just a reminder that your bus loads by 11:15, and apparently you do get lunch. So on your way out to the bus, you can grab your lunch, and you don't have to go home hungry and sad. Another reminder that there's no smoking allowed on the project. There is a designated smoking sign near the entrance, so you don't have to hide behind the biffs like you're a 7th grader in the bathroom. We're not judging you. We just don't want to be around your smoke, so take it out to the entrance, please. Please pay attention to the waste bins that are lined up both alongside the tent here and throughout the site. We're really trying to do a great job with separating our trash, our recycling, and our compost. Almost everything that we have can be composted, so even those little forks and the plates and the cups that you're picking up in the morning. So please pay attention to doing that, and let's keep our construction debris out of those things. Each site has big green contractor plastic bags. I think they're green. I'm colorblind, but they're out there, and so make sure your construction waste is going in those bags, and then people will pick them up along the way. Safeguarding message. So remember, the Habitat has a zero-tolerance policy around bullying and harassment, no matter what that looks like. So please slow down and take a moment before you say something that might make somebody around you uncomfortable. And if you do experience anything that you think might cross the line, please reach out to one of our safeguarding officers. They're going to be wearing orange hats and orange armbands. We really do take this seriously and hope you'll all work together to create a safe and welcoming environment. Let's see what else I need to tell you. Today is the first Wednesday of the month in Minnesota, which means that at 1 o'clock, there's going to be a siren. Please do not panic. There is not going to be a tornado today. So just go about your business. Put on your ear protection if it's feeling like it's too loud for you, but the siren is just a drill that we do on a monthly basis here in Minnesota because, believe it or not, we have had tornadoes in the Twin Cities. It does happen, so it's just a preventative measure to make sure that stuff's all working. The second thing I want to tell you is that we are moving a lot of stuff down the road today, like big wall panels for your second floor, lots of lumber. So I'm going to ask folks, wherever it's possible, to stay off the road when you're walking back and forth. I know it's really nice to have that nice paved road out there, but today let's really make that road about the golf carts and the large forklifts that are moving stuff down there. Hard hats and safety glasses must be worn at all times when you leave this tent. Ear protection is available as well on your site. Let's see, what else? Harnesses. Today, some of y'all might be, as we're getting up higher in the air, these are the days that make my safety team and the medical team a little bit more nervous because you're higher up in the air, more is at risk. So you may be wearing a fall harness, and you're going to want to make sure that you work closely with your house lead or your crew lead to make sure that you understand how that works. We're not making anybody do anything, so there is no obligation on your part. If you were afraid of heights and that's too much for you, that is just fine. So harnesses are a thing, and even just being up on the scaffolding, we want you to really pay attention. The scaffold that we have is awesome. You may wind up on a ladder. Again, we want those ladders really firmly secured. If you can find somebody to hold a ladder for you, that's even better. If you have a step ladder, I'd like to see that folded out with all 4 feet on the ground. You might have to dig out one of those feet with the claw of a hammer to make sure it's stable. Yeah, be careful as you're moving around. Medical person, oh, I got to talk about colors. If you do experience an injury, we do have a medical tent, and we're going to send you there. We have had a great week here. We've had some cuts and bumps and bruises, but nothing really serious, and that is all on you guys. We can't do anything about ensuring your safety. That's really you looking out for yourself and for each other. If you do have any medical needs that we need to be aware of, please report to the medical folks, and they'll do their best to serve you. Anything specific about your site, your house leader is gonna tell you about as we get in today. So we need your help looking out for safety and for safeguarding issues. And our motto for this week, from a safety standpoint, is if you see something, please say something. We really do want to make sure that this is a safe and fun build for you. So last thing, and some of you have been through this before, so you can help me as we go through it. Hard hats. I've got some stickers on my hard hat now. I know that there's a hard hat culture around here, which is pretty exciting. And your hard hat's not only great safety equipment, it's also a souvenir from the event. So please take it with you. We don't want your sweaty hard hat back. If you don't want to take it home, give it to somebody you don't like. So if you get a cut on your hand or a splinter or something, that's not a big deal. But if you take a knock to the head, that is a problem. So I'd like you all to hold your hard hat and repeat after me. You ought to be getting used to this by now. You'd have been around. This is my hard hat. There are many hard hats like it, but this one is mine. My hard hat will protect my life. I will wear it at all times without a baseball cap under it. I will make sure it fits securely. I will label it with my name and my phone number. I will protect it against damage and loss. Before all my friends here, I swear this creed. All right, we're going to hold you to that. Thank you so much for being here with us. Let's go build some homes and change.